So I was watching a metal shaper video this week. It popped up on my recommended list, and it had a video on problems with the heat riser, and usually like the spring doesn't work correctly. So it got me thinking just to test mine out before I run it too much. And I was noticing when I was running this, like when I ran it in the yard, that it would run really rich. I actually took the spark plugs out and they were black, like it was definitely running too rich. And I found out that it had a vacuum leak and that I had to adjust the float on the carburetor. But it was running better when I did those things, but ultimately when it heated up, it wasn't running that good. And come to find out that this damper was stuck open. When I initially was testing it out, I moved the counterweight back and forth, and I thought it was fine, but come to find out, it was just spinning on the shaft, and that was totally locked up, which I was really surprised that it was freed up when I thought it was, but I didn't investigate it anymore. So I ended up taking the intake manifold off, or thinking I was going to, and sure enough, I broke every one of those bolts off. That's not good. So, I did everything to try to get it to come off and get those bolts out without breaking them. I sprayed it with PB Blaster. I did everything. I went back and forth nice and slow. I was like an hour out here just trying to loosen those bolts up, and sure enough, one by one, they were snapping off. But you know what? At least I got it off, and I have easy access to drill these out and retap them or whatever needs to be done. I'm going to do that really carefully because I always have a problem with these, trying to get this to center the bit on here. So that's going to be, if you guys have any ideas on how to do that really easily, if there's any tool I can get that would help me do that, if you could put it down in the comments. But I have parts on order for that, and that's going to be not too bad, but it's just going to be a pain in the neck. So let's see if I can learn something from this one. Alright, well, in today's video, what we're going to do is I want to get at least the light bulbs in and get the retaining rings in and get those all set to go. They're not going to be ready to run because I still have to do all the wiring. So that's what we're going to do today, is just get things at least mounted and get them in place, just so I can get some of these parts out of the way here, just so they're not floating around. I did get some new light bulbs. I'm really thinking I'm going to go with a 12-volt system. I've been going back and forth, kind of agonizing over this, and I think that's going to be the best way to go. I got a lot of recommendations to keep the same starter and run it on 12 volts, but that starter is so tired. I think it's going to be worth just getting all new ones. I mean, get a new starter, get a new alternator, and just go all 12 volt. But so what we're going to do today is see if we can mount this stuff. I already kind of cleaned up the retainers, and I got the retainer rings here, and I actually ended up getting springs and replacing these. These were in really bad shape. They actually broke when I was taking them off. So the first thing we have to do is we have the little clips that mount the springs, and then these springs connect to the retainer. So we have these two here are in perfect condition, but on this side got a little more wear and tear as far as rust. And one of them is here, but we need a new one down here. So I'm going to grind this up. I just primed these just to, I actually rust treated them and got them ready for paint, or ready for primer. So I got those primed for now. So I'm just making sure that this little groove is within this space here. I'm going to tighten them up as far as I can right now, and then I'll adjust them at a later date once I get power to the light bulbs. Next I'll install the light bulb and the retaining ring. I'm just making sure that the writing on the light bulb is in the correct location, because that tells you basically the location that the light bulb is supposed to be. If you see the writing like this, it's not in the right spot. So just like this here. Now these retaining rings that I got, or that I had, were universal type for this diameter light bulb. So I'm going to just use these. They don't fit 100% perfect, but definitely good enough. So if I didn't mention it before, these two screws are adjusting screws. This screw here adjusts the angle of the light this way, and this screw here adjusts the rotation this way. So in a video later on, once I get power to these, I'll show you how to adjust those, and we'll put a location on our garage door at the height that these supposed to shine at, and also the location this way, whether they're shining a little bit into the road or a little off the road. Well, that worked out pretty well. I'm glad to get these put in. They've been hanging around in a box, and I just hate having stuff hanging around that isn't going to go on the Jeep. I'd rather put it on and then remove it when I'm ready to paint or whatever. But they look pretty good. I think it definitely gives character back to the Jeep. That's definitely the look when you first see the front of the Jeep, is the headlights. So I'm glad they're put back in. I still have to wire them, obviously, and take them out. And when I do painting, I'm going to have to take them out again, probably. But at least they're in place, and it's a small job that just makes you feel good when you get it done. And for anybody that was curious, they haven't taken their lights out and they're curious what it looks like on the inside, that maybe that helped you a little bit too. I do have a big purchase, big order for a few purchases. Like, I'm definitely going to go with the 12 volt system. So I have on order a alternator, a starter, wiring harness. I haven't ordered yet, but I'm curious if I'm debating whether to make my own exhaust. I kind of would like to go through the challenge of doing that, and especially the expensive exhausts. They're kind of expensive for what they are. So if I can make up at least the majority of it using steel pipe and welding and fabrication that way, I don't mind doing that work. And I think it's going to come out pretty well anyway. So I'm not sure about that, but if those parts don't come in by the next video, I actually want to start on Bruce's motor, which I have set up right here. Let me show you. So this is Bruce's Volkswagen motor, or engine I should say. If you look back in the playlist, you can see the some of the other videos I've done on this dune buggy build. And this is coming up. I want to at least, I'm not sure if I'm going to use this motor. I don't know if it's too far gone, and I'll show you in the next video why I'm worried about that. But at the very least, I want to break it down and actually get a real good look at how these motors work. I have never broke down a motor and built it back up, so I'd love to do that with this motor. It doesn't cost me anything to tear it down and look at it. Which you can see in the other videos, was sunken in mud, and the jugs are locked right onto the pistons, so that's going to be a job to get those off. But I'm going to leave that for the next video, possibly, if the parts don't come in. But thanks for hanging out with me, guys. I really appreciate it. I want to thank everybody again for subscribing and liking my video. It means a lot to me. It really helps out my channel. And like I said, everything I get from this channel, I'm putting right back in to make my videos a little bit better. As of now, I have a new camera, and I preemptive bought that camera just hoping that I could make the quality of these videos a little bit better. But thanks for hanging out, and I will see you on the next video.